feeling a little inspired today. So I think today, gotta start my timer. I think I want to do something a little bit different that I haven't really done live, really. Stuff that I'm about to go over is stuff I usually mull over on and spend hours, days, weeks pondering about and shuffling my notes on. But I want to give myself a little bit of a focus today. I'm going to give myself an hour to kind of come up with a general overarching campaign idea. Whether I use it or not, it's not important to me. But I want to see if I can use a single tool and a notebook and kind of create an interesting story. And then my thought processes along the way. The thing that I'm using is a campaign creator deck by Shield Dice Studio. I got these off of a drive-through cards a while ago. If they still make them, I will link them in the description. But I used these early on when I was trying to come up with short adventures for my campaign that I was running for some friends of mine. But one thing I will say is that I've struggled using these cards in a way that fit with my general a GM style, so I stopped using them. But I'm not GMing, so today I'm just going to tell a story on the emerging situation that happens. I will go over how this all works as I use them. This is usually a tool used for, prep. So this will probably go on my Prep is Play a series. So with that, let's get into creating a campaign. All right, so first things first, let's go over what we see here. Outside of the set dressing, my favorite color, green dragon, guarding his hoard of treasure, and my trusty wizard off in the corner planning his entrance to steal his hoard. But what we have here are themes the elements of a quest and a campaign that these cards are asking of me to kind of go over each time that I get a new card. I might touch base on some of them. I highly doubt I'll add all 8 for every single thing. That just takes a long time, and I'm not really into writing a novel right now. The other thing is there are quest cards, theme cards, and interlude cards. And the idea is that you would draw a quest card to start things off and a theme for that quest to give it a theme. And then there are some coin flips and some dice rolls to kind of to granulate those cards. And then you just keep building them off, and it creates an arc, a story arc. And we will add in the secrets, the objectives, enemies, allies, the problems, and the solutions, and the setting and lore as we go. I'm also going to use this. I received these as a gift from my players a while ago, and I never ever used them. And so why not? Let's not keep stationery as prized possessions. They're there to be used and abused. And even within this has some random tables for things. So I will fill this out as I need and where I need it. I'm not familiar with the layout of this particular journal. It is skinned for 5th edition D&D, but I'm gonna use it for my needs here. And there is a section here to draw, I think, a map, a hex map, or where is that? It's probably in the beginning, of course. Yep, this is the calendar, and here we go. Here's the maps, which I may not get into. We'll see how things go. So, first things first. Irish breakfast, good stuff. Okay, let's start us off with a bang. Let's just get a quest to start this thing off. So I'm going to draw from the Q. There's Q, which is quests, T, which is theme, and I, which is interlude. So we got delve in the deep. Oh, I forgot to shuffle these. I will shuffle the rest of them because I was doing a kind of test sort of thing with these before, and that was the first card that I drew last time. Delve in the deep. Venture into gloomy caves or delve into haunted dungeons. Perhaps you wish to find treasure or answers in the deep. The foul things in the dark wait for you. So, how this is going to work is that I'm going to roll a d6 to see how hard this quest might be, relative to the levels of the character or whatever it is. I'm going to be playing this, or rather building this up, and sort of like a discovery, reading a book. This is kind of, I'm going to be telling the story as this happens. So let's roll. We got a 6. So this is a nearly impossible thing for a group of individuals to do. So let's also flip a coin. So this is going to be heads with the tail-eating dragon, and then the X with the this thing here is going to be tails. So when you flip a coin, the thing says this. To gain more depth from the cards drawn is to flip coins and place in the top corners of the quest cards. A heads will represent that is personal, and tails is a job or a contract. So that is kind of those prompts, right? Okay. So let us see. Heads is personal, tails is job. Ooh, we got tails. So it is a job. It is something that is probably on a not sounding board, quest board. There we go. It's on a quest board. Let's see the theme of this delve in the deep type of quest. So we got man versus nature. Add an element of natural disaster. Perhaps a great storm is uprooting trees or flooding the streets. An earthquake may cause the town to crumble. All right, so let's add this underneath this delve in the deep, and let's roll to see what kind of environment. 3, flooding. Ooh, that would make it very hard. Okay, so I'm gonna transition from what we got here into making some notes. So we already have the idea of I want to these. This was a job. So this was an impossible job, right? Was tasked to a group of adventurers, right? And what I do want to do is go to my, here we go, kingdoms, locations, and NPCs. Wow, this is a pretty cool book. Secondary NPCs. Wow. I should have probably been using this for a while. Player characters. Interesting. Player characters. Key monsters. Interesting. Okay. All right. Monsters and then adventures. Here we go. Okay. So downtime activities. All right. So in the back of the book, and magic items and artifacts. Nice. So in the back of the book, let's enter in our first adventure here. Is just, we're going to call this a impossible, right? Impossible, in quotes, impossible delve the deep, right? And it is a, flooding. So man versus nature. So the idea, I think, is this is probably going to be a situation where the adventurers have to go into probably a cavern of some sort and retrieve lost loot. Maybe it was we are going to start in a coastal setting. So I'm going to add some notes already. I have an idea. Court world overview, genres, house rules, inspiration, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to say that Pantheon, we're going to start major kingdom. All right, so we're just going to do the notes on the kingdom is coastal, right? So definitely coastal. And interesting. Okay. And it's like those large archways of wave-beaten and windswept caverns. So maybe they have to get there via a ship and park inside this large cave and go swimming and diving in. And it's a task that is done. It is kind of given by a faction of some sort. Interestingly enough, there's no real spot here for like factions. So that is interesting. So what I think I'm going to do, artifacts, is I think I'm going to write this in downtime or key NPCs. There we go. First page of key NPCs, and I will add the settlements and locations, defense ruler. I'm gonna just do key NPCs, and this is actually going to be a what kind of job? What kind of treasure seeking job? The Divers Guild. Okay, so the Divers Guild. So their ideal is let's fill out some stuff. Occupation and location is a coastal faction, right? And they are basically treasure hunters. So they send people out to go get treasure, and they keep maybe say half the loot, and they give some of the treasure back to the people who got them, and also notoriety or they fame points and stuff like that. So that would be interesting. That's cool. Goals: to recover lost treasure throughout the lands. Okay, so now we have a guild, and that is this first sort of thing, and it's a very nearly impossible thing to start off with. So maybe they don't take this quest right away. It is something that they know it exists, And now it's time to go into what they might do in after this or in the meantime. So we have covered some of the setting of it's a coastal kingdom, and we have some objectives that is part of this this quest, which I'm gonna fill out some more of. It's not recap; it's just like this quest. So objective is to recover treasure from flooded cave, right? And return to Divers Guild. Okay, cool. So we got this first quest that is kind of a big deal, something that lower levels may not be able to do. And there's definitely the problem of being able to survive underwater and stuff like that. So let us draw a new card, an interlude. Build your base. Take some time to build a structure to call home. Perhaps you need to store your treasure or simply wish to have a warm hearth when not on the road. So interesting. This is something that comes up. And I will say that this is obviously a personal sort of thing. So this is going to be a notable location, key NPCs, player characters. Nope, that's going to be locations, settlements and locations. Location is a player base, right? So size and population is going to be, small, right? And let us roll what kind of thing it is. It's going to be 4. It's going to be a castle. Oh, okay. So, defense, ramparts, right? Ramparts, etc. Notes, castle. So we could fill out so we know that the setting has some sort of castles and has some sort of the ability to build stonework and stuff like that. And the interesting thing about this campaign creator is it's very broad stroke, extremely broad stroke. I sometimes have to fight my urge to, delve into this castle, like who owned it, stuff like that. We're not too worried about that overall. So we have this castle that the players can go to and actually lock up their stuff. And if you're playing a troop play style game, and if you want to play within the same region or a campaign setting, you can use this base as like a base of operations for several characters or several player troops and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. So that is an interlude. And now let's see what other sorts of quests we can create here. Investigate a mystery. Do you fancy yourself a detective? Perhaps you wish to solve a string of murders or search for clues in the night to prove your innocence of a grisly crime. Okay, so I feel like this would need a flip if this is a job or maybe something personal happened to one of my characters, right? So let's flip this. That's heads. So this is a personal quest. Okay, so let's go to the quests, the adventure. The adventure here is let's roll. Let's see how hard it is. Another nearly impossible quest. Ooh, okay, so maybe unsolvable or something like that. Okay, impossible. right? Impossible, quotes, right? Investigate a mystery, right? And what kind of theme is this? So the theme will actually help us hone in on the type of mystery it is. Wealth and poverty. So, ooh, add elements of riches, poverty, or a great wealth gap. Perhaps the poorer class are planning an uprising. Maybe those in power no longer prosper. Oh, now let's roll a d6. Roll the 3. So we got a class war going on during an investigate a mystery. So that is interesting. So the kind of theme is wealth and poverty. A class war, right, is happening. So I'm thinking that maybe one of my characters has thought about their lot in life. Don't know if they are if they're rolling in the coin or not. Seeing as they're adventurers and they're taking jobs that are hard, maybe they are not very well off. But they also have a castle, so maybe they are. So I don't really know at this point. But taking on these extremely difficult cases to solve, maybe it is a murder mystery of some high profile. Yeah, so this is a high profile, profile murder. That one of the PCs is directly involved in. I'm thinking that maybe one of the PCs got accused, so they are dragged into the mystery because they are pointed at as a possible suspect. So I'm gonna write PCs are possible suspect. So that's that adventure. And what's really interesting that I've noticed, like kind of gauging on this, is that these 2 quest lines could take several sessions of play and take many times to do. And this build your base thing, obviously something that might happen in the next interlude instead of something else. But for the sake of just keeping things random and everything, I'm going to just keep drawing new cards. And this murder mystery might take like a long time before it gets resolved. But since this deck does not have a way of resolving things, it's just a building of a campaign, there's no need to figure out if they solve it or not. These are things that can happen in the world. Once, after a few more things, I think I'll probably stop there, and then kind of discuss how I bring things together. With the investigate mystery and stuff, there's probably a lot of secrets to this, and we're gonna have to fill out some allies as well, and the setting is probably due to wherever they're building their base, so they probably haven't gone too far from the coastal main town. Oh, there is a faction. There is a faction section. Of course there is. Okay, so let us draw a new interlude to see what they do after or during this. Traverse the wild. Travel across the wilderness. Perhaps your next destination lies beyond a mountain range, a dark forest not fit for the wary, or the hot dunes of a desert. So let's roll another d6. 4. A hot desert. Okay. So they are traveling. So now we know there is there is a coastal region. There is a desert region as well. So let us write some world overview. So we got coastal capital city, right? And a desert region nearby. So they're traveling through this hot desert. Maybe they're escaping from a failed attempt at this mystery, or maybe they're attempting to help escort a fleeing criminal that was falsely accused as well. We don't know, but for whatever purposes, they end up traversing a desert. And this would probably fall under the same sort of thing that's probably due to their personal reason and their personal investment in this mystery. And so after they finish that and maybe they tie up loose ends and stuff like that, they come to find a new thing to do, which is puzzles and traps. Okay. Can you bypass a guild's tripwires? Perhaps you come across a bandit's trap-filled camp. Maybe you wish to try your hand at solving ancient puzzles. Okay, let's roll on this D6 table. 2. So this is an easy thing to do. Thankfully, a lot of their stuff has been fairly hard, and they come up, and maybe the party's wizard is like, yes, I can use my skill in an easier fashion. So let's set the theme. Patriotism and loyalty. Add elements of patriotism. Perhaps you are loyal to your people and fight for your king and country. And an overly patriotic villain may think themselves the hero. Interesting. All right, so let's roll a d6 to see what kind of thing. A 6, the greater good. So this, dealing with this puzzles and a traps kind of adventure, is for the greater good. That being said, just because it's for the greater good, it's probably a task that was given to them. Maybe it was given to them or tipped off by the escort, or maybe it was a new contact in a new location. For the greater good with puzzles and traps, that kind of feel is probably them having to go and solve a maze thing to get to somewhere here we go. The well water in a smaller village has been tainted, and they can't seem to clean it with normal magics because more cursed water keeps coming up. So they have to go down into the sewers and locate the source of this curse. So for the greater good, they have to solve that puzzle. And I would even say, if I was going to run this, is this sewer thing would be maze-like, and you'd have to pull lots of levers to turn traversable walkways over this murk and this cursed sewage. So if anyone touches the sewage, it would probably hurt them a lot or do some nasty damage. So we got the third quest is for the greater good. Puzzle and traps. Easy. Yep. And the sewers are cursed. Need to cleanse the water source, and lots of levers and secret doors and such. Cool. So I have that, and that with that, it tells me that they are going over the hot desert, and they probably come to a, a an, an oasis town. So we probably have another town that is in a so we have the capital city, right? So we have the capital city, and then we also have a what's it called? A desert, desert slash oasis town, right? So we have, and also the player base. So we have these locations, and we have a castle, we have a coastal capital city, and we have a desert oasis town, and those are three major locations. And we know that this town prizes their water, and they really want the PCs are told that it's for the greater good, and they might gain some allies in this place. Maybe they can stay here instead of the capital city, where they're still under investigation. So with this kind of building of a story, I personally, I already have ideas on how I might do this, and just to give you a concrete sort of comparison, but an actionable thing you can do with something like this is you take your current campaign setting and you just pull it out. And right now I'm going to use my Perilous Badlands campaign setting that I created using the Shadow Dark core rulebook. And so we know that this has a coastal city, a castle, which could be anywhere really, a murder mystery, and going across a hot desert to an oasis town. So I know there's a couple of places. So I have 4 and 5 for my things here. I'll just use this as bigger. 4 and 5 is a small tower and a monster nest. So I have these places. So this small tower right here, this could be a capital city, right? Now I do not have the only villages that I've rolled using the rules in a Shadow Dark for this was 1 town and 3 villages, no like large cities. But I could plop a large town, or at least a town that would have a guild that would send treasure makers everywhere. And I'm actually thinking of having that town be Oslin, because Oslin is a village that is on a river that comes from the mountain, goes to this large lake or large sea, and we could say that this is also open between these mountains and this thing, and have another river, and it connects out here. So we could say that it's just from Oslin, and this is the large town. Also, Bright Lantern is way up in the forest, but that doesn't make sense for traveling through a hot desert. And remember, these are just large, broad strokes. A desert town could be this bottom left town called Vorn. It's a chaotic village that has lots of things going on. Though the village itself isn't very nice to outsiders, they love their water, and if they get a curse underneath them, they probably would want outside help to have fodder to send to the rats below and maybe fix the curse, get rid of the people who came and fixed them, so they got their water back. They're kind of for themselves. So I know it was a kind of rambly kind of overview of what I was doing here, but that's how I would use this system. it's a very broad stroke thing, and you could go to each of these, each of these quest lines and their interludes, and fill out these things as needed. But I just wanted to give in a very quick sort of like overview on what I do with something like this. And I honestly think I'm going to be doing more stuff like this here as well, because I like doing this stuff on my free time, and I don't mind talking about it. I really don't. It doesn't slow me down too much. I'm just cognizant of how much time these take up in terms of watching them. While I don't personally do this for people to watch, I also don't mind sharing my process for people who care or want to know. So that is the campaign creator deck that I use. I have a lot of things like this that I kind of tool around with and just kind of make stories up and kind of do the equivalent of character creation and then stopping. Like, this is all I did. I just created this little short adventure that I may never use for anything, but it was fun to think about. It was fun to get the brain going. It's like reading a novel. It's like anything that tickles those little receptors in the brain that go, yay, I like this. That's play. Prep is play. Everything is play. So that's what I have for y'all today. So I guess with that, I think I will close out, and I will see you all on the flip side. Peace.